my teeny kitchen at my actual home. We're here to bring you some master's recipes because I don't know about y'all, but I'm hyped for spring. I'm hyped for hosting, and I'm really excited for the golf tournament coming up. So we're gonna make our rendition of the Azalea cocktail, as well as a couple other delicious things for your menu if you're hosting. So stay with us. Okay, first, our version of the Azalea cocktail. We've got our ingredients here. What we're gonna start with is 1 ounce of fresh lemon juice. If you don't have a lemon, if you have lemonade, it works just as well. It's gonna make it a little bit more sweeter. Not quite as bougie, but you know, you do what you can do. So we're gonna do that straight into, if you don't have a shaker, I'll go just get a big glass. Then we're gonna do 2 ounces of our pineapple juice. Lord knows why I had this in my fridge. I don't ever drink this, but it was really nice to know that I did have it. So 2 ounces of that. Be the equivalent of like a shot glass if you don't have a fancy jigger. Next we're gonna have 2 ounces of gin or vodka, depends on your preference. So we're gonna use a little bit of gin. Ding. Okay, and we're gonna do a little splash of grenadine. So it's kind of cherry flavored syrup. Awesome. I really like grenadine.
True grenadine is actually pomegranate. Here in the United States, they cheap out and use cherry because it's more readily available.
Live from New York. No, Lauren is the culinary expert, so she's going to keep me straight. Okay, next we're going to add the ice. I didn't know that about grenadine.
Yeah, that's why sometimes it's called granada. Like the groundnut in pomegranate is grenadine.
Who knew? Yeah. I'm sitting here being like, I'm loving it with Diet Coke, because I do. All right, so we put it with ice. We gonna give it a gentle stir. We're not trying to get a ton of ice pieces in there, but we're gonna use a little strainer. We're gonna get our glass. Eee, new to this. Okay, be right back. Into the tundra. I like a lot of ice in my cocktails, especially if you're hosting because you don't want your drink to get hot. But don't like a lot of ice in my cocktails if I'm buying it at a restaurant. Who's with me? Kind of get people get aggressive with the ice. So, straining into this beautiful, yeah, of course there's not gonna be enough, but getting there. Now we're gonna garnish with, it smells so good, pineapple. Makes me feel like I'm on a beach. Okay, lemon to garnish, and we are ready to go. So cheers. Lauren's like, where's hers? I'm making more, I'm gonna make more. We gotta make mocktails though, because it's during the work day. But all right, on to the next thing. Guys, we're back. We all have our Azalea cocktail. I'm drinking mine faster than everybody else. And we're gonna move on to banana pudding, okay? So, the pudding has to set for a little bit, so we're going to start with making the instant pudding itself. Now, Lauren's going to complain to me that there are better ways of making banana pudding, but this is the quick, efficient way.
I don't like banana pudding.
Yeah, because I like banana pudding. It's actually my husband's favorite dessert.
I do it with strawberries, so then it's strawberry pudding. So
Okay, that's not even the same.
Well,
Never
is,
mind.
but it's not.
I understand.
It's different fruit.
It's fine. We're moving on. Banana pudding is very good. It's kind of a staple in the South. So I use instant, and I don't even get the fake flavored banana pudding. I do vanilla, that balances it out with the actual bananas that you put in there. So we're doing 1 pack of this. This is like 90 cents, not even at the store. At the stove, so you don't need to be fancy. Trash. Okay, next we're taking milk. We knew we'd have leftover milk. Lauren gets the lactose free. I get the full on. Also, make sure it's cold milk, and don't try to do it with soy milk, oat milk, because your girl has tried and it has failed. It's just too soupy. It doesn't get thick, and I don't know.
And I don't know what lactose
Well, we're about to try. I know. I think it's just more. I mean, it's still 2%. I think it just means these have fat. All right, we'll see. All right, 2 cups of that in there, and we're gonna fridge this so that we have it for our iced coffees. Okay. Next, we're gonna mix. I think I need a whisk, right? Okay. I have a whisk. It's kind of janky because I lost the top. Hey, it works. It works.
If you're like Becca and you don't have a whisk, you can also use a fork.
Who knew? Who knew? Lauren, tell us about your time in culinary school. Did you feel like you already knew like a lot of it going in, or was it brand new?
So a good bit of it was new, just in the way that they explain why you do things in the kitchen, the way that you do things.
Yeah.
Some of it's
But you got a lot of street smarts in practical sense, so I'm just kind of like,
yes, I do. A lot of it is just learning from experience. I have had a myriad of jobs in
your
every
peers
aspect of, yes, they are. I've learned a myriad of things just in life. And that's the only real way to learn is by messing it up and just going with it. And
I'm in.
going. Yeah.
I'm in. But I feel like every time I'm with you, whether we're in the Pennies kitchen where you're like doing new recipe development, or we're trying to do like a fun Pennies and pairing tasting or something, like you're always coming up with different ideas, and you, I don't know, especially when we were in our sourdough era. Still am.
That's on ADHD.
Yeah, that's pay-per-view actually. Yeah, you gotta pay for that. But all right, this is starting to thicken up. It says like whisk for about 5 minutes, like we're getting there, but it's gonna thicken as it is. I'm actually going to put this in the fridge while I cut up our banana. My bananas were way too ripe. And I don't recommend doing very ripe bananas because they ripen pretty quickly in the banana pudding. You don't like banana pudding, so you wouldn't know. But I usually, it's usually gone in our house because people in my house like it so much, but I usually try to consume it within like 2 to 3 days after prepping. So this is one of those things that you could do like the night before to let it set. Would you agree?
Sure.
Because I think if you do it the day of, the pudding won't like fully set.
That way, and then the bananas or the vanilla wafers can kind of absorb some of the stuff and kind of create that pudding.
Right. We're cutting these not too thin because then they really do get mushy and they don't hold their shape when they're in the pudding. They start to absorb like the moisture of pudding and everything. So we're gonna put these. We did wash our hands, by the way. Just letting everybody know. So we're gonna put these into a bowl. And I'm actually gonna cut up one more after these. So we've got our bananas ready to go. Gonna clean up my prep space for a second and then start prepping the bottom of our bowl. So we've got 8x8 clear dish. I like clear because you can see the layers. It's a really pretty dessert to make. My granddaddy used to make a lot of trifles and would do a lot of things with like nuts and stuff, which I'm not a big fan of nuts in dessert, not gonna lie. But it's true. Allergic to almonds, pecans,
And walnuts.
But this, you can see it, and it's pretty to keep on your table, serve with a spoon, or you can put them in individual dishes, which is always a cute idea. Put them in little coupe glasses. I got like light whipped topping because I'm gonna save a calorie or two here and there because we're making dessert. But you get the full-fledged fat option. Big thing is to make sure that it's thawed all the way. We're just getting there. But when it's completely thawed, it should come up really easily and be easy to spread. So there's that. So first, vanilla wafers, the good stuff. I have seen so many renditions of this. I have seen people, and I'm aligning my pan here at the bottom. I've seen so many people do graham crackers. I've seen those, the Milano crackers that are like they're like chess looking pieces. Chessman, cheeseman. Yeah, more shortbready. And it gives it less of this like vanilla-y, and it's just like more like a cookie kind of crunch. So this is the tried and true. Okay, this is tradition. This is what the master's about. It's about tradition. Here we go. Line the bottom. I'm gonna check on my pudding. We're going to line the bananas. Again, I like a lot of bananas. Totally up to you. And it's all about efficiency here in our kitchen. So ain't nobody got time for that. You gotta make it all pretty. But at the end of the day, if you're hosting people, you need to be with your people. You need to prep this stuff quick, save your time, save your peace. And you need to be with your people, and you need to not be worrying about making everything perfect. Because at the end of the day, people just want to spend time with you, spend time with each other, especially post-COVID. So it doesn't really matter big picture how everything looks at the end of the day. Just saying. Okay, so we're gonna spread a little bit of this banana pudding. So I like to put like kind of globs like this, and then I spread it out once I have it on there because you want to have Definitely I'm gonna make at least like one more layer. This is not a super deep dish, but I'm just spreading it. Okay, that, now for the topping. So this is just like one layer. So can you grab another spoon?
Yeah.
It ain't quite all the way done. But everyone's like, oh my god, I made banana pudding. Like, this is amazing, so good. And I'm like, if you only knew how easy it was. I'm going to spread this guy out. So we're getting him nice to the corners. This is not my top layer, so it's not the biggest deal if it mixes a little bit with the pudding. But I just like to have it to look a little bit. All right, layer done. Now, more bananas, more vanilla wafers. So we'll do that. So we're getting there. That actually worked pretty well. I cut up 3 bananas, pretty good sized bananas. So just if people are wondering, like, how many do I need to have? If your bananas get too ripe, which happens to be a lot, I always like to make banana bread. Okay, now we're gonna put more topping.
So Becca did not let this completely defrost, and we don't have time for that because we're already halfway through. So just grab a regular fork, since Becca's whisk is, we've already established that, but just whip it, and it will aerate it enough that it is incredible.
All right, so I'm getting this out. And it kind of worked out. Again, we had 1 box of the instant pudding, 2 cups of milk, 1 of these, 3 bananas, and a box of vanilla wafers, which really you don't want to use all the vanilla wafers, but I like it. All right, vanilla wafers, final thing. Okay, are we team put them all on, or are we team like crunch them?
I don't know.
Crunch.
Crunch?
Yeah.
She
Just
said
for
it.
the top layer.
Okay, so I'm just taking these. I think I crunched too many. I have a lot in my hand right now. Okay, so we're just gonna little salt bay it, crunch with some delicious. I like to show a little bit of white, like I don't want to fully cover it. I want it to be kind of like centered with some good pieces. So, bada bing, bada boom. Okay, awesome. All right. Now, on to the next course. We'll be right back.
All right, so I am going to make our first course, technically, of our wonderful lunch for the masters. I am making our rendition of the green jacket salad from down in Georgia. It is our rendition because we're gonna spin it just a little bit. But first I have kind of prepped all of our ingredients just a little bit. We are going to cut up a 3/4 of a cup of green onions, right there. We have 1/4 of a cup of fresh parsley. That's Italian parsley.
Which tell them about the parsley versus cilantro conundrum at the supermarket, because don't make this mistake, because I have.
So there are 2 different things. They both look very similar. So parsley is going to be more of a triangle leaf rather than more of a round leaf that is cilantro. Parsley tastes a little more lemony, so a lot of the times it's paired with stuff that's Italian. So it's going to have a lot more lemon forward, whereas in Hispanic culture, cilantro is usually with lime because, tacos, cilantro and lime. And it has more of a lime flavor. So when you're chopping up your parsley, it'll actually give a lemony aroma to it. So then we also have cut up cherry tomatoes. You can leave them whole. We prefer to cut them up because it's a little bit easier to eat. Then we have our chopped up romaine, which I'm going to go ahead and wash in just a minute.
Right.
But you can use bagged romaine. You can use whatever salad green tickles your fancy. It does not have to be romaine itself, but I just like the crunch of it. But you can use whatever kind of greens you want. Cool. But yeah. And then I'm going to mix up our salad dressing. That's going to go over top. We have crunched up a little bit of our pennies. That is where we're veering off course here. Traditionally, this recipe uses crunched up pita chips, but we are going to use our product here.
Cheesy panko. Even better.
Just adding a little bit more cheese forwardness to
And we have a lot of it. So, there we go.
It's always on hand.
Okay, first, we
Yep, so I have already cut up our salad greens here. We use romaine. It's going to be about 3 heads of romaine or however much you need to do to feed your guests. Usually it's about a handful per guest, which is about an ounce, just for gauging that. So,
if you do not have a salad spinner, that's okay. Because I don't.
Even as a classically trained chef, I don't, because it's just one of those appliances that you don't truly need. If you have a strainer itself, you just give it a good toss and it'll get all the water out. You want to check while you're tossing that to see if there's any pieces that have kind of not been broken up, but also if there's any funky stuff that we don't necessarily care for. Just because all the leaves are all tucked together. Yeah. It definitely helps to have a paper towel on hand as well to try and soak up some of that extra moisture from rinsing it, because you want your salad dressing to coat the leaves as well. So if you're using an oil-based salad dressing, which we are, it's going to be olive oil and red wine vinegar. The salad dressing won't stick because the oil is hydrophobic. You could put this into a big mixing bowl. We're just going to put it into our fancy serving bowl and then sprinkle all the toppings on top. But you could just toss the entire thing in a bowl and then transfer it to your serving bowl. I have already prepped the ingredients, but I'm going to go ahead and show you kind of what it is that we need to do for prepping those ingredients. So a lot of times recipes for green onions themselves will say on the bias. Now what the heck does that mean? That actually means at an angle. So you take your green onion, pick off whatever funky stuff you don't necessarily care for. A lot of the times the top gets kind of crispy because that's the part sticking out of the ground. So you'll take it and you'll go at a diagonal. So that's how.
What's that called?
It's on the bias. It's the further down into the white that you go, the more bitter it's going to be. The green part is the nice fresh floral part.
Nice.
You can use all the way down to the white into the root. But if you actually leave this root, you can put it in the dirt and it'll grow a whole new onion. So then you will never, you just go and trim off your green part and you'll never have to buy green onions ever again. What was 89 cents is now forever and ever green onions at your house in the garden.
Wow.
Yeah, so on the bias is at an angle and it gives you a little razzle dazzle. That is what I did with all of these.
Cool.
Now when Becca was cutting up her stuff on her cutting board, you could kind of see, as a classically trained chef, I could see it because it's one of my things. To keep my cutting board from sliding all around when I'm cutting on Becca's nice marble, I have actually wet a paper towel, just one single piece of paper towel, that will actually give it a little grip. If you don't have a super fancy cutting board that comes with grips, it'll keep it so that it's not going
I think I just want you. Period.
Everybody does. Everybody does. So we're gonna go ahead and make our dressing. Yes. So it is going to be a 1/3 of a cup of red wine vinegar.
Red wine vinegar stays good, right? Because I mean, if you're not gonna use all of that and keep it in your fridge and just.
Oh, you leave this on the counter. It doesn't have to go in the fridge. Because it's been aged, that's what turns it into red wine vinegar. It's actually red wine that's just gone bad.
Yeah.
And they've aged it.
Yeah.
Just a 1/3 of a cup of red wine vinegar, and then we're gonna have a 1/2 cup of olive oil. Okay. And then just a little sprinkle of salt, about a teaspoon. No, this salt shaker did salt bake for me. And then a 1/4 teaspoon of dried oregano, which you can use a 1/4 teaspoon, but I know what it is. Becca happens to have Italian seasoning instead of just straight up oregano, which is perfectly fine. It's got oregano in it, plus other herbs. It works. And then a little fresh pep. Zhuzh that.
All right, so red wine vinegar, olive oil, dried oregano or Italian seasoning, then fresh pepper and salt.
Yes.
Okay.
We're gonna pour it into our container. We could have used a whisk to do this, or if you have one of those fancy milk frothers for your cappuccino or your latte in the morning, you can use that. We don't have either of those because we've always just done this with the whisk. So just put it in your mason jar here with a tight fitting lid and just shake the heck out of it. You want to emulsify the fats with the vinegar, and some of it will still evaporate and separate, but you want to be able to see all the fats turn really small because you're breaking up those
This also
globules.
just like makes me feel better than getting a store-bought dressing that like has a bunch of gums.
And you can definitely change the ratios of however much, if you like it a little more well forward than vinegar.
Yeah.
You can also do any salad dressing with these same ingredients, but you want to keep kind of those ratios. There is our vinaigrette that we're going to pour on top.
Okay.
So we will go ahead and start assembling the salad. So you, again, like I said, you could put this into a regular bowl and put all of these ingredients in, then toss the salad and transfer it. Becca doesn't have a big enough bowl for that, so we're just gonna put everything.
Dang, call me out.
You're not a classically trained chef with a huge kitchen, so like we said, teeny kitchen, teeny things. So we're gonna put all of these in together.
I'm so good. I always kind of half-ass my salads when it's for me.
Yeah.
Like, not gonna lie, it's so nice to actually have all the ingredients for something. The parm.
The parm.
Tell us about like fresh parm.
Mm-hmm.
Game changer compared to
Yes.
the green can. But let's be honest,
yeah.
y'all have the green can. I have the green can.
Oh, so do I.
But
the number of times that I actually have fresh parm on hand is few and far between.
yeah,
Just because my husband eats it all.
yeah.
And then I forget about it. So what we did to grate this was just use our microplane.
Which I didn't know was.
That's the fancy term. It's actually the brand. That's all it is. That's why it's called that way. But it's just a zester or a grater.
Cool.
You could even just use your knife and shave off pieces of this parm.
Okay.
But we have the fancy thing that will rain it down, like at Olive Garden when they say when, and you never want them
Never
to say
say
when,
when.
because there's never enough
Like,
cheese.
keep going, keep going. Who's the commercial of that?
I know. We stay cheesing around here,
Say cheese and baby.
even though this is
And
commercial.
very aged, so lower lactose than you maybe think.
Yeah,
of.
so because it is aged, all of that lactose has literally been eaten from it.
yeah,
So hence
crazy.
why we can eat it. And then our penny panko on
So
top.
beautiful.
And then, so you saw me shake the vinaigrette. It's completely normal for this to do this. It has separated just because I haven't had a blender to emulsify all those fats together so that they stay stable. We also don't have any binder. So if you wanted it to truly be stable and put it in the fridge and then be able to just come back without having to shake it, you can use a little bit of Dijon and that will hold them all together. So you just give it another shake
That's
and it's like
Bada bing,
nothing
bada boom.
ever happened. Give it a little drizzle, coat it, give it a start, because you don't want to overdress your salad.
Again, a bigger bowl would help you. I know.
That's all right.
But
Just so
this
that
looks
you get
so
a
beautiful.
little bit of everything in every
I'm
bite.
validating.
And again, we use that penny panko because it kind of mixes in with the salad
It
dressing.
like coats every piece.
It does. Instead of you sitting here trying to stab an individual crouton or like
It's
the
awkward.
pita chip
It's all
falling
in
off,
there. You stab it and it flies off your plate.
or it just crumbles in half.
Or it gets soggy.
Because this isn't going to stay soft because it's usually baked. So there is our rendition of our green jacket salad.
Yay! Okay, step one.
So we've got our chicken. You can cook the chicken, but you really want it in shreds. We cheated and got rotisserie chicken and just shredded it up ourselves. That's the simplest way to do it. And it is just in
Very well
shreds
seasoned, too.
instead of being diced or cubed, we want it in shreds because it's gonna absorb the mayonnaise really well and then hold on to the sandwich rather than it just kind of all falling
I
off.
like that. I like the way the texture might be in my mouth too.
Then we are
Okay.
going to have celery, mayonnaise, has to be Duke's.
Dukes or bust. Don't get the fake stuff.
Then salt and pepper,
Mhm.
and then in our rendition, we're going to be adding onion. In a
I like
traditional
that.
master's recipe, it does not have onion, but you need onion in chicken salad.
You did it.
You do.
Okay, so
So, we have already prepped our celery.
Mhm.
It's going to be about a cup, just depending on how much chicken you're going for.
okay.
The more chicken you have, a little bit more celery you're going to need just to keep that crunch in there.
Okay.
But then I am going to cut up the onion. Even as a classically trained chef, and I say classically, I just went to school for it, but anybody can be a chef, like Ratatouille says.
Oh, love that.
Chef Gusteau, anyone can cook. these knives, not the sharpest. So please be careful. Hold your hand on a claw and then go across.
Teeny guys.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense because like per bite, it'll disperse well.
And you're gonna go about half the celery to onions. So we only did about half the onion, but we really don't need that much for how much chicken we have. So you don't want to be overpowering.
So we can save it.
We can. You can save that for later, or for more chicken salad later.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do is now just mix everybody up. Just so I don't spill it everywhere, I'm gonna use a much bigger bowl.
So we're adding the rotisserie chicken to the bowl.
We're gonna take our mayonnaise, and usually for about 2 cups of chicken, it's gonna be a cup of mayonnaise. But again, you want to just do it to your consistency. Some people like a little bit more mayo, so it's gonna stay together a little bit better. So that was about 4 regular spoonfuls. So then we're gonna add our celery and our onion.
And the salt and pep, the chicken was already so seasoned.
Mhm.
Are you adding additional?
I'm gonna test it and then we'll go from there.
Okay. So I need to peppery. So we have our ingredients.
And we're just gonna give her a mix.
Some people add nuts. Some people add grapes.
No.
Some people add. That's all I got. But still, it's that's nuts. That's like good.
Mm-hmm.
God, a little bit of mayo does go a long way.
It does. So that, again, that was about 4 little spoonfuls, so it's probably about a cup of mayonnaise for this. But again, you do it to your liking. If you want it to be more chicken forward, go a little bit less, do 3 spoonfuls. You can always add more mayonnaise, but you really can't take it away. So start off with a little bit, and then you can gradually add a little bit more. If it's not smushy enough, add more mayonnaise, add some more. So I think that's about good on our smush level, at least for my liking.
Yeah, that's good.
Because with the spoon, you can kind of pick it up and it kind of stays together on the spoon. Then it will also stay together on your sandwich. Yep, and it's probably good because this chicken was already pretty seasoned.
Yeah.
You can see the salt and pepper on there. But if you're doing it at home, cooking your own chicken, definitely keep an eye on that seasoning.
Okay.
You don't want plain chicken.
Now, let's feast.
Mm-hmm.